You ever spend your whole life dreaming about peace only to find out suburbia's got a funny way of declaring war the second you turn your back? That's how it started for me. I didn't move out to the Colorado mountains to get dragged into some neighborhood soap opera. I can tell you that right now. All I wanted was 40 acres of honest-to-God solitude somewhere. The only thing louder than my coffee pot was the wind through the pines. And let me tell you, after 2 decades as a federal forest ranger, you learn to appreciate quiet the way most folks appreciate air conditioning in July. No bosses, no neighbors within shouting distance, and definitely no committees. So I buy my little patch on the western slope, build my off-grid dream house, solar panels, gravity-fed water, the works. Rufus, my old red-boned coonhound, settles in like he owns the place. Every morning it's coffee on the deck, maybe fix a fence, clear a trail, or just ride the ATV up the ridge to watch the sun come up over the valley. The only rules out here are the ones nature makes, and I was fine with that right up until Karen Welch showed up. Picture this. I'm stacking cedar planks behind the house, and I hear gravel crunching near my south gate. Out steps this woman, yoga pants, sunglasses bigger than her head, Summit Crest HOA logo on her fleece like she's the mayor of somewhere I never signed up to be. "You must be Eric," she says, like we're old pals. Karen Welch, president of the Summit Crest Community Board. Welcome to the neighborhood. I almost laughed. I shook her hand, stayed polite, but her questions came too pointed. Property lines, fire smoke drifting downhill, even a gentle jab about air quality alerts. Rufus didn't like her. Neither did I, but I figured it was a one-time deal. Yeah, that didn't last. A week later, the note started. Little reminders tucked into my gate, always typed, always friendly stuff, like, "Please refrain from using your generator during nesting hours," or "HOA recommends GPS collars for dogs in high wildlife areas." You know what I mean. The kind of thing that sounds polite on the surface, but underneath it's all about control. Then one afternoon, Karen herself shows up again, clutching a notebook and a laminated map. She says, "Eric, wouldn't it be wonderful if Summit Crest families could use your pond? We don't have a swimming pool, and it would be such a gift to the kids." I had to laugh. "Karen, this is private land. I'm not opening it up to the HOA. Her smile froze. She calls me isolationist. I call it boundaries. She didn't like that answer, and I could tell right then we'd crossed some invisible line. Next thing I know, I spot her inside my fence line strolling along the creek trail like it's her personal park. I step out and say, "Karen, you're trespassing." She looks at me like I'm the one in the wrong, claims she's walked this path for 15 years. "Not anymore," I tell her. She whips out her phone and right there starts dialing 911. "I'm being threatened by an aggressive male. He's squatting on HOA land. Please send someone quickly." She stares right at me, smug as you please. I just went inside, poured myself some coffee, and waited. I could already feel the headache forming. Sure enough, 20 minutes later, 2 deputies roll up like I'm some backwoods lunatic. I meet them at the gate, deed folder under my arm. The older one, Deputy Norton, does his whole routine, checks my ID, wants to see my paperwork. I show him the deed survey, the exclusion letter from when my land was officially severed from Summit Crest back in '97. GPS maps the works. Karen comes barreling up in her Lexus, starts ranting about illegal occupancy and community safety. Norton asks for her documentation. She's got nothing but hot air. He sends her packing, apologizes to me, files his report. I wish I could say that ended it. 2 days later, flyers start showing up in mailboxes, public safety warnings about an unvetted male squatting on unmanaged land. Hints about firearms, warnings to report suspicious activity. Then came the Facebook posts. Old photo of me from my ranger days, labeled, "Who is the mountain man?" Comments calling me everything from prepper to militia. I had to laugh, but my attorney didn't. We started collecting evidence. And then one day I notice something odd up in a pine tree. Looks like a birdhouse, but it's too sleek. I climb up and bring it down. Turns out it's a high-end wildlife camera, solar-charged audio mics, the whole 9 yards. Summit Crest. Eco Observance Initiative says the sticker on the back. I find 2 more, one near the creek, another in a fake rock by the pond trail, all aimed at my cabin. I crack one open, pull the SD card. Hours of footage, me Rufus, dear me hauling firewood. I send it all to my lawyer, file a cease and desist with the HOA and county. While I'm at it, I install my own cameras just in case. That's when I catch Karen's contractor on my land swapping SD cards out like it's nothing. I confront him, snap photos, report him to the police. Next thing I know, I get an anonymous email with a zip file full of Zoom meeting recordings, Karen on camera, bragging to the HOA board about their eco-surveillance. She says if he's doing anything illegal, we'll have proof. That's when I realized this wasn't just Karen being Karen, this was coordinated harassment. I file complaints with state and county, hand over footage, take down every last spy cam, 6 in total. Karen tries to play innocent, shows up at my gate, calls the cameras conservation devices. I tell her the real wildlife officials will sort it out. She gives me that look, half therapist, half snake, then storms off. But she wasn't finished. A few days later, while I'm on a Zoom call with my attorney, my security alert pings motion on the Eastern Trail. I pull up the drone feed and watch as Karen, dressed like she's auditioning for Survivor, struts up, throws sunglasses and a scarf into the brush, then collapses in the ferns like she's been shot. She gets up, brushes herself off, and strolls out all casual. I tell my lawyer, we got a new problem. 15 minutes later, the deputies show up again. Karen claims I assaulted her. I laugh, show them the time-stamped Zoom call, then the drone footage of her little performance. The younger deputy shakes his head. Jesus. I file charges for false reporting, trespass, evidence tampering. Amanda, my lawyer's all over it. That was the turning point. By Thursday, Karen's booked on multiple charges. Amanda files a civil suit against the HOA for defamation, harassment, and surveillance. The smoking gun, that Zoom recording of Karen admitting the whole operation. HOA tries to claim she acted alone, but Amanda subpoenas Facebook and Nextdoor. Turns out 80% of the rumor-mongering accounts logged in from the HOA clubhouse, including 2 board members. Digital fingerprints don't lie. Karen tries one last Hail Mary, files some ancient map claiming my land's inside the HOA. We shut that down with a certified letter from the Bureau of Land Management, chain of title, the works. The cherry on top. My drone catches her trespassing again, muttering into her phone about how she'll win the case and get rid of that redneck. We add it to the evidence pile. The press gets wind of the story, front page, when the HOA becomes the bully. Photo of me at sunrise, Rufus at my side, looking more tired than heroic. Courtroom day. No marble pillars, just tense silence, and Karen in beige trying to disappear. Her lawyer flails, the judge is unimpressed. Amanda lays out our case, drone footage, Zoom calls, fake accounts traced to the clubhouse, the works. Karen finally cracks, blurts out, "You don't know what it's like living next to someone who doesn't follow rules." The judge isn't buying any of it. By week's end, Karen's found guilty: criminal trespass, false report, attempted fraud, defamation. 9 years, parole after 5. The HOA gets slammed with $600,000 in fines and is ordered to dissolve and reform. I'm awarded $1.3 million plus legal fees. Was it satisfying? Sure, but it mostly felt quiet, like the kind of quiet you get after a storm tears the roof off peace, but not the kind you dreamed about. Folks shook my hand outside the courthouse, called me brave. I went home, hung a sign on my gate. Private land trespassers will be recorded, exposed, and legally erased. Underneath, I tacked another Karen, this is not a playground. Spring came late that year, snow lingering in the trees, the creek running wild. Rufus chased robins, and for the first time in a long while, I felt settled. The new HOA board sent a letter of apology and wanted to meet for coffee. I ignored it. No hard feelings, just common sense. Karen's serving time last I heard complaining about the prison garden. I built a new tool shed, paved my road, reinforced the gate, and used most of the money to put 38 acres into a private conservation trust. No traffic, no development, just wildlife and a few school kids on field trips the way land ought to be. Every now and then a car slows at my fence folks from Summit Crest, squinting at the sign. Karen's name's faded now, but you can still read it if the light's right. She's gone, but I imagine she can hear the wind out here even from wherever she is. Justice doesn't always come in a big dramatic sweep. Sometimes it shows up as a court order and a fresh sign on the gate. So what do you think? Who was right? Was it just me defending my home, or was Karen fighting for some greater community good? Leave your thoughts below. Let's see where you stand on justice, neighbors, and where the line gets drawn.